Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill,
I'm DK.
and DK is on the road. He's coming home from work while we're doing
DK
this.
on the DK on the road here, but that doesn't stop the wrestling talk on the show.
Exactly. So, in a couple of minutes, we are going to review the 1990 Royal Rumble. This is the long-awaited review of this show. But
Seems like we've been prolonging this one,
yeah,
but we are going to get to it.
but before we get to it, um, I forgot to mention this to you the last couple of weeks, and I figure now would be the best time to tell you.
Okay.
It's now going to be a three-man team.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
starting today. So let's introduce the newest member of the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast, the Yodeling Pickle.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, we're happy to have the yodeling pickle on the team.
do you know how
Um,
long I've been waiting to do that joke?
to be honest, I think the yodeling pickle can probably branch out on his own
I think so.
with the credibility he has in the podcast world.
Exactly.
Now, if he wants to bring us along for the ride, I will ride the coattails of the yodeling pickle all day long.
and for those and for those curious, I got that for Christmas this year. So it's
That
like,
is a phenomenal gift. I am going to Google that when I get home because
yes.
I feel like we need everyone. Maybe the yodeling pickle can sponsor this show because I
Maybe.
feel I will market the yodeling pickle all day long.
All right. So let's get into it. The 1990 Royal Rumble. And if you're listening for the first time, how we do this is if we have something that happened the same day as a pay-per-view, we mention it. And believe it or not, there was something that happened on the same day as the Royal Rumble. We had a house show for WCW, Richmond, Virginia, at the Coliseum. A respectable crowd, 4,000 in attendance, so not a bad card. Headlined by the Steiners defeating Doom in a steel cage match, and Ric Flair defending his world title, beating Lex Luger in the main event.
That's pretty good. Couple matches there for a house show.
Mm-hmm. And I'm only going to mention two other matches real quick. Sting defeated the Great Muta. Now you know that's a hell of a
Yeah,
match right there.
yeah,
And the Rock and Roll Express defeated the Midnight Express.
yeah. That's where was the show?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. Okay.
That's a good
Yeah,
wrestling
that's
crowd.
that's a pretty good that's a good card for a
Yeah.
house show for sure, definitely.
All right. So, this is the night, like we said, the 1990 Royal Rumble. This is the second pay-per-view of the Royal Rumble. So, the previous year, it did a 1.5 for pay-per-view, which is pretty good, and it drew 19,000 in the Summit in Houston, Texas. This show, while it is a sellout, only had 16,000, but that's okay. They got a 2 rating for pay-per-view.
Damn,
A 2.
it's pretty good.
Yeah. Um
And
there is
like you said, 16,000. Like they only, but it was a sellout.
Yeah,
So
it's a sellout.
maybe they couldn't get any more seats in there, and that's the most they could have.
Well, there's going to be a running joke throughout this show that we're going to mention that probably convinces everyone that yeah, they weren't able to get more people in. There was a dark match on the show or before the show. Paul Roma defeated the Brooklyn Brawler. No time was given, so
We don't know
uh,
how fast the match was, but it probably wasn't too
um,
long.
let me see. Okay, according to historyofwwe.com, it went 6 minutes 13 seconds.
Okay.
So we're pretty, good warm up for the crowd.
Yeah.
Um, so this is in the Orlando Arena in Orlando, Florida, and it had just opened the year prior to this event. So this building is relatively new. The original commentating team for this show was actually going to be Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura. However, Tony Schiavone said on a recent podcast that the day of the show, Vince had partied way too much and didn't feel like doing the show. So he's like, Tony, you're doing the show.
I'm hung titties today. That's incredible. Like I feel like if there was a superstar that called Vince before the Royal Rumble and said, "Hey, I'm too hungover to wrestle," he'd probably fire him on the spot.
Yeah.
So for Vince McMahon to basically call in sick
I
to a
mean,
top four show is that is unbelievable. That's the reason why he wasn't
I
on the broadcast.
I mean he was in the building, but he just couldn't do the he just was like,
Right, right.
I can't do it. So
I'm hungover, man.
and I should mention now, a little later in the show, we or I have a surprise, not only for DK, but for all of you. I haven't
And this
told
is a
what it is.
legitimate surprise. It's not like this is for the audience. Like I do not know
Yeah,
where you're going with this,
DK does not know where I'm going with this. So
but I will say that you're talking about Vince not doing the show. I was very surprised with Tony Schiavone, and I thought it was a great job on the mic
you know,
for the team. I liked it.
here's the funny thing. This is his second and last pay-per-view he commentates for WWF.
Yeah. Oh, what was the first one that he did? I know I've seen it. Just trying to
Summer
remember.
SummerSlam 89.
'89 SummerSlam. Yeah, right. That's the one with Macho and Zeus,
Zeus.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. I have we reviewed that one yet? I can't
No,
remember if we
not
have done that
yet.
one yet. That might have to be this summer. I might have to take take the polls away for that one because
Yeah.
we might have to do a no holds barred watch along before we do that one.
Oh my God, I would love to
Oh,
do that.
the entire movie.
Yes.
We do the watch along. We maybe we can even get some fans to watch with us. I feel like that would be incredible. And that's one movie that my wife has never seen, and I've been trying to get her to watch it for like
Oh,
10
I
years.
I know someone that has never seen that movie. I'm going to try to get him to join us for that one. So,
Yes. Okay, so no holds barred watch along in the summer,
well,
followed by SummerSlam review.
you know what? And I just kind of put two and two together. This year is the 35th anniversary of that movie being released.
Yeah,
So it coincides with everything. So, all
yep, it sure does.
right. So let's get to it. We see Tony and Jesse. Jesse has on a Mickey Mouse sweater and the ears,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Well,
and he's
he
like,
was at Disney World earlier in the day, right? I'm
yeah.
assuming.
And he's like, I wouldn't even allow Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse in here.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where you're going with the attendance.
Mm-hmm.
I got you now. Okay.
And then
Yeah,
he,
they
and then
were
he,
full to the rafters.
yep. And then he had a goofy hat for Tony, and he's like, I'll put it on later. All right.
Yeah.
So our opening match, tag team action, the fabulous Rougeau brothers against the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, so I had never seen this show before I watched it for the review,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not even look at the lineup. I didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised. So I didn't look at who was going to win, what the matches were. I just hit play on my WWE Network.
Hmm.
It was like I was watching it for the first time because I was.
Right.
And when the Bushwhackers music hit, I legitimately got excited because I don't, if you've never listened to the show before, DK, myself, have been licked by a bushwhacker. It's when people ask me, tell me something interesting about you, that's what I tell them in a job interview. The job I have now, the job I have now, okay? They said, tell us something that tell us something interesting about you. First thing I said is how I do multiple podcasts that are doing pretty well,
Hmm.
which I'm very proud of. Is there anything else? I'm like, well, actually, yes. I've been licked by a bushwhacker.
I
The
have.
lady, the lady in the room had no idea if she needed to call somebody to get me help because a bushwhacker had licked me. The guy was about a little bit, maybe a little bit older than me. He knew exactly what I was talking about and high fived me across the boardroom table. So DK was excited, and I'm talking in third person today. I don't know why, but I was excited when Bushwhackers came out.
Oh,
I had to tell you that
I
story.
now I have to ask.
I got to put it on my resume, like licked by
Yeah.
Bushwhacker.
Now I have to ask. Did their breaths smell like sardines?
You know what? I remember like everything about that day, but I don't remember what their breath smelled like. I think I was just more excited that I was getting licked by a
Okay.
bushwhacker.
I was
So
kind of curious.
like I was like 6 years old. I had a large pop in my hand. I remember being excited about having a large pop. And I think I had like Andre the Giant cup. Like it was one of those
Right,
big,
right.
big fountain cups you could get. I don't remember if it was sardines. Maybe. I have to get into the inner depths of my memory for that kind of stuff to come out.
Yeah.
One day, one day I'll probably be in therapy talking to somebody and it'll just come out. Be like, oh, it was sardines. He was right. And then I'll call you up and be like, you now I got all these bushwhacker memories and you know.
All
So
right. So,
anyways, there was a match between
yes.
fellow Canadians and the bushwhackers there.
Yeah.
What did you think of this match?
You know what? This was an enjoyable little opening match.
Yeah,
It was the right little mix of comedy and wrestling.
that's what made bushwhackers so great. I thought because they were good wrestlers. It was a good tag team. The way
Hmm.
they'd work together. I uh I always enjoyed watching their matches and then the way they work together. Like
Yeah.
these are two guys that would like if they ever wrestled on their own, it wouldn't have been good.
Hmm.
But like just the way they work together, and I'm glad you brought up the comedy too, because they're these athletic guys and they're walking around the ring with their arms moving about like a bushwhacker, and that's it's not much else you could say about it. They were just
Right.
bushwhackers.
I mean, basically, the whole point of the match or the story of the match is the Rougeos are trying to avoid the battering ram at
Yeah,
every cost.
yeah,
And
it's a devastating maneuver.
it is. And you have, the bushwhackers biting a few times. And
Yeah,
then the ending is done really well because you got Jacques and Raymond. They're kind of comforting each other. And one of them, like, they don't see the bushwhackers coming up from behind. Boom! Battering ram from behind.
battering ram. Yep.
One, two, three. The bushwhackers win to a great ovation to start the match.
Yeah, I don't think there was one upset person in that crowd. Bushwhackers get the victory.
Like I said, I enjoyed this match. Um, I I gave this a C.
You gave it a what? Sorry,
A C.
a C.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. You know what? I'm with you on the grade for like it did feel like it was going a little bit too long. I don't know if you have the times up there.
I
Um.
do.
I, I did feel like most of the matches were longer than I thought they were going to be, but that was probably just the style in
in the
1990.
time. Yeah.
Um, but it's not like I was sitting there going, "Oh, I can't wait till this match is over." I was pretty intrigued the
No,
entire time.
I never felt
So,
that way the whole show.
and like wrestling's weird because if it was 2010, people would be on the internet complaining about, "Oh, we know the Bushwhackers going to win this match," and it went too long. But in
Mhm.
1990, I'm like, I could have watched 5 more minutes of them strutting around the ring,
Right.
doing a couple more battering rams. Like, so, yeah, I I tend to agree with you on the C.
Now, I do have with me Meltzer's ratings for each match. You because you're on the road, I'm going to give you a pass this time, and you don't have to guess the rating
Oh, that's okay.
because
I'm here. Yeah, I'm good to go, man.
all
I can
right,
guess old Dave if you
uh,
want.
all right, go right
I'll
ahead.
probably say 1.5 stars.
A quarter of a star.
See see now if Dave as a little kid got licked by a bushwhacker, this would be 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome, baby.
Right.
Like Dave, who hurt you? Who hurt you, man? Now, this is your first review listening to the show. I like to shit on Dave's ratings because he acts like a wrestling fan, but he just wants to bitch about everything. So
Oh, wait, wait,
that's my
wait
thing.
till we
That's
get
my feelings
to
on Dave.
all I'm gonna say is wait till we get to one of the matches later on and his rating.
Sure.
You're not gonna believe it. You
Okay.
might stop the car, get out of the car, and walk away. But I'm not
I'll
gonna tell you
just
which one.
throw my headphone out the window.
Yeah. All right. So we go backstage. Mean Gene is with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and bodyguard Virgil. And Mean Gene talks about how the drawing has taken place and there's
Hmm.
extra security this year because
Yeah, there was an incident last year.
allegedly there was a little chicanery last year.
Yeah.
So Ted DiBiase, he's not happy with the number he got. Mean Gene grabs it and he's like, "Oh, you got the worst number of the lot. This is number one."
See, I like the segment. I didn't want to know who got number one. I like being surprised.
Yeah,
So then I know $1 Million Man's coming out one.
but here
I didn't like that part.
I'm going to make the argument for this and another segment in a little bit where
Okay.
I think it's actually good
All right.
because the crowd, everyone's got to remember, this is 1990. WWF does not have the technology to do a backstage skit and have the audience in the building hear it.
Oh,
So
okay.
they don't know that he's got
So
number one.
so this is just for the pay-per-view
Yeah,
audience
for the
then.
pay-per-view audience.
Okay. Okay.
So Ted DiBiase says it doesn't matter if I'm number one, number two, or number 30. I'm the best wrestler in the WWF, and I'm gonna be there to the end, and I'm gonna win it. Well, we will
Mhm.
see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, on to our next match: the Genius against Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, and it seemed like these guys had a little bit of a history going into this match.
A little bit, because Jesse mentions
Yeah, I
that,
think it was just with the commentary, like they were talking about different things that had happened.
yeah,
Or maybe
because
they showed a replay of something from Saturday night main event,
yeah, basically the
from what I
Genius
remember.
beat Hogan on a Saturday night's main event.
Yeah,
And
which might be like the biggest victory in the history of wrestling. When I heard that, I was like, "What?
I'd say it's Lanny's biggest win ever.
How is it? How is the Genius not getting a title shot here at Royal Rumble with a victory over the champ?"
I know,
Maybe they had a title match at a house show or something
maybe.
where
I,
the
I
Hogan must both, you know.
I'll look it up another time.
All right.
Um, this is actually my least favorite match of the show, but it still gets a good enough grade to pass. Um,
Yeah.
there's a little, like Genius trying to avoid. He's moving around. Now, my dad is with me watching this because we're hanging out, and
Sure.
this is the time of wrestling that I got into it. So he's like, "Is that guy gay?" Referring to the Genius, and I'm like,
Oh,
"No, Dad, he's not gay." And then I'm like, he had two kids and was married.
it doesn't matter. He's gonna be gay and have kids. But
I I just said
okay.
I just said he was very flamboyant.
Yeah.
So basically, what you got here is a good chicken shit heel versus hot babyface match. It's a decent match, and then we get to the end where I think it's Earl Hebner who's the referee. Let me double check. Yeah, it is Earl. Earl's the ref for this match. He takes a nasty bump out to the floor.
Yeah.
So then Jesse gives us one of his famous quotes. Remember, it's not how you play the game. What matters is if you win or lose.
Yeah.
So Beefcake puts the sleeper on the Genius, and he's out.
Hmm.
Genius is
Yeah.
out. So Beefcake then goes to get his scissors, and then Tony has this great rebuttal. He's like, "Well, Jesse, remember, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's how you cut the hair."
Yeah. They had a good
Right.
back and forth on the show,
Yes. So
which is
Beefcake,
important with commentary.
Shivani and Ventura are actually kind of an underrated announce team. If
Yeah.
you think
Like I
about
don't
it.
know how many times, like did they ever announce as a team in WCW?
Oh yeah, they did.
Okay. Because yeah, like it kind of surprised me that you said this was the second time because I thought they had some pretty good chemistry.
I know, right?
So,
So
some guys just have natural chemistry with each other.
they do. So as Beefcake is cutting the Genius's hair, here comes Mr. Perfect, and he attacks Beefcake from behind. He's beating him up, and Beefcake, he's in trouble. Perfect goes outside and he grabs a chair. Genius is holding Beefcake back, and Perfect rams the chair into the ribs of Beefcake. And he keeps beating him up with the chair until the referees come to make the save.
Jerk off.
They call the match a double disqualification, which I
Yeah.
find very interesting in the ruling.
No, what did Beefcake do to get disqualified?
That's what I'm wondering.
Like all he did was put the sleeper on, and like I guess he went to get his scissors, so then he
Yeah,
has a weapon.
maybe,
Maybe that's what it was.
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Me neither.
Like I said, it's my least favorite match on the show, but it's not a terrible match. I gave this a C minus.
Yeah, you know what? I'll I'll wait until we're done the show to tell you which match I thought was the best and the worst.
Okay.
But if this is the worst, then we got a pretty good show here, I think, because
Yeah.
like this match, like I really liked how you described it. The chicken shit heel
Mm-hmm.
versus the baby face. So
And
yeah, I'm with you with the C minus.
and I'll say this for the record before we let you guess Meltzer's rating. Lanny Poffo, totally underrated. You go back and watch his older stuff. Oh, he's underrated, but that's another story for another day. All right. What did David L. Meltzer give this match? Hello?
Are you there? Hi.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
What did Mel? Oh, he's got his mic off, folks. Up, there we go.
All good.
Okay. So, what rating did Meltzer give this match?
Well, there's a quarter star for the last match,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the last match was better. Um, I guess I'd have to say minus a quarter star.
He's a little bit nicer on this one. He gave it
Okay,
1 star.
really?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 1 star. All right, so we go to the back. Sean Mooney is with all the members of the Heenan family: Rick Rude, Haku, Andre the Giant. Basically, Sean Mooney's trying to stir the pot, saying, "Hey, what happens, Rick, if it comes down to you and Haku?" It is like, well, if that's what happens, then I'm gonna win. It's a good bit, trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fix the family.
for
Oh,
sure.
and then we get the big announcement. Sunday, April the 1st, Skydome in Toronto, WrestleMania 6. Woo!
So they had nobody had like announced WrestleMania 6 in Toronto until this moment, or were they
Nope.
just talking about?
Nope.
Really?
This is where they announce it.
Because I remember at WrestleMania 6 they
They
announced where
announce.
WrestleMania 7
Yeah, they
is.
do.
So, and I always assumed that they did that. Like at WrestleMania, they would tell you where the next WrestleMania was. But
Now, I do want to mention real quick, and I think what I'm going to do after we put this show up, because somebody put this up a couple years ago, and I didn't even know this existed. Los Angeles made a videotape to try to convince WWF to have WrestleMania 6 in LA. And I never knew about this till like a few years ago.
okay,
So I'll have to put it up in our group so you guys can watch it. It's actually a good effort by Los Angeles to get WrestleMania 6. So all right, now we go to the submission match. Greg the Hammer Valentine against Rugged Ronnie Garvin. This is the only one of the four matches that isn't the Rumble that actually has a backstory to this. So what happened is they had a career-ending match in like April or May of '89. Valentine wins the match. Garvin, however, becomes a referee, and he's a referee for a few months. And it gets to the point where Valentine is so agitated, he's like, just please make him a wrestler again. Just make him a wrestler again. So
right.
Garvin's reinstated as a wrestler again. And, they're doing the house show circuit. And it basically leads to this submission match where they both have on a shin guard that you guys will see in the match. I'm going to let you start this one.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of surprised me because I always thought he was a referee. When I saw the guys come out, I liked this match. I wasn't sure what I was gonna think, and I didn't really have any instincts on how this match was gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'll be honest, when the guys came out, I wasn't sure what this was or what the backstory was or what anything was about the match really. But for me personally, I enjoyed the back and forth of this match.
One of the things that I kind of enjoy in a bad way is the fact that both men go for pinfalls. And it's like, you can't win with a pinfall in this match.
Right. That was a little strange.
um, the chops. Oh my lord. If you all thought the chops today are loud, these two chop the crap out of each other. Like, you can feel it when they hit. It's cringeworthy, but it's so good.
Yeah.
And and then Valentine goes for the figure four early, and it has no effect on Garvin because he's got the shin guard on him, so he's making faces like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which I I thought that was a really cool way to go about that.
It really
Putting the guard on,
mm-hmm.
like, and then the commentary kept referring to it, which I thought was really well done.
Yeah. So eventually Jimmy Hart steals the shin guard of Garvin. Valentine gets the figure four on. Garvin is able to reverse it and escape. And then the ending is really good because
Mhm.
Garvin eventually takes Hammer's shin guard. So now they're both without the shin guard.
Right.
Hart gets up to distract the referee. Hammer's going to hit Garvin with a shin guard. Garvin swings for the fences, hits Valentine with his shin guard, knocks him out, and he locks in what Tony Schiavone calls the reverse figure four. It's basically the sharpshooter and the scorpion deathlock. And Valentine gives up. He
Yeah.
submits.
Yeah. You know what? I really thought Garvin was going to lose for most of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then when he ends up winning the match, it kind of surprised
I'll tell you what, this crowd ate that ending up. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
especially once the shin guards were removed.
mm-hmm. When we get into our selection for MVPs of the show or the MVP of the show,
Mhm.
they're going to be in consideration for me.
Definitely.
Is this crowd is hot all day. Oh my gosh, it's great.
Yeah.
Um, I gave this a B. This is like one of my
Wow.
favorite overlooked matches of all time. It is fantastic.
Well, I definitely enjoyed the match. I don't know if I'm gonna go as high as that. I will give it a C plus.
Okay.
I thought the wrestling was pretty good, and the aspect of using the shin guards
Mhm.
into the match definitely gives it a higher grade for me. So I'm gonna go C plus.
Okay. Um, what did Dave Meltzer give this match?
Um, sorry, I don't really know how Dave was feeling back this age. It's kind of hard for me to guess this, but so it's basically just me kind of guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 2 stars.
Right on the button. Very
All
good,
right.
DK.
Once usually like I'll get one right and then I'll get one completely wrong. And then there's a few that I'm like close on.
Yeah. So we go to the back where Mean Gene is with Mr. Perfect, and they talk about what Perfect did to Beefcake earlier in the show. We get a replay, and as we see Perfect hitting Beefcake with the chair, you could hear Mean Gene going, "Oh, oh my word!" It Perfect has this great line: "Beefcake, hair grows back, but your ribs, they may never grow back the right way."
Yeah.
Oh,
And some of those segments are good.
such a good line. And
Oh
then
yeah.
Mean Gene, being the reporter that he is, asks Perfect, "What number did you draw for the Royal Rumble?" And Perfect tells him, "I got the perfect number. I got number 30. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So we know DiBiase's number one, Perfect's number 30. They're the bookends. How will
Yep.
it go for the both of them? We'll have to wait and find out. But now it's time, DK, for a special edition of the Brother Love Show. Ah, Brother Love Show. I'll admit, more and more as an adult, I'm really starting to enjoy the Brother Love character. I
Okay,
am.
so remember when you said, oh, which match was it that you said was the worst match of the show? Was it the beefcake one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This was not a match, but this is the worst part of the show for me.
Okay.
It was hard. Um, knowing like 2024 how they're talking about Sapphire.
Yeah, I
It was hard to
know.
it was hard to listen to. Like I know it's a different time and it's just trying to get cheap heat, but man, Bruce Pritchard, can't believe you'd say that
Yeah.
stuff about Sapphire. Come on, man.
So so he talks about how he was looking up in the book of love.
Yeah,
And he looks up the definition of the word lady. And in or next to the word is a picture of said definition. It's sensational Queen Sherry, and she comes out to booze.
yeah,
So then Brother Love tells Sherry how he continued to look into the book of love. And he found another word, peasant, commoner, ugly.
Glee.
And there was a picture of said definition. And it's our next guest, Sapphire. And Sapphire's coming out. She's dancing. She's got a nice pop.
Oh yeah,
So for the next 3 minutes, and I think that's how long it was,
it felt
both
like forever.
both Sherry and Brother Love put down Sapphire, and to a lesser extent, Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah,
And the crowd's behind Sapphire.
I
And
should hope.
yeah, and it gets to the point where Sapphire just grabs the mic and she's like, "Look, I've had just about enough." Slaps Sherry, paintbrushes her across the face, and she goes down, and the crowd goes crazy. And Brother Love, he's berating Sapphire, and here comes Randy Savage. And it's like, uh-oh, this is looking bad. Well,
The
then here
Macho King.
yeah, Macho King. And then here comes Dusty Rhodes to make the save, but Savage gets to him before he gets into the ring. So Savage is on Dusty's back, and then Sapphire gets on top of Savage's back. And then Brother Love grabs Sapphire by the hair. It is a complete mess, but it's kind of fun, watching it. And then
I didn't believe Brother Love grabbed her by the hair.
by the
I
hair.
was like, what is happening right now?
And then Brother Love gets in the ring. Dusty corners him. Dusty and Sapphire beat up Brother Love, and they dance.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wonder, like, okay, so they're setting up the WrestleMania mixed tag match that we
yeah.
don't know about. But why was Brother Love there? Like, what was his purpose? Does he just not like Dusty Rhodes? And because it's not like he was part of a group with Savage and Sherry.
It's
What was his
more
point behind that?
it's more of he appreciates Savage and Sherry, I think, more than
Right.
anything.
So he was kind of just being like a heel Paul Heyman type character,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like being the mouthpiece.
Yeah. And he has like his own segment, his own talk show.
Yeah.
And folks, if you've never heard the backstory to how this character is made, I recommend you check it out because it is so fascinating. It really is. So,
The Brother Love character.
the Brother Love character.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to almost do a profile on Brother Love one time on the show.
I think I'm gonna
I
say it
don't know
right
if there's enough information for an entire episode, but there might be.
maybe.
You have to look into it.
I think 2024. I'm gonna say this real quick before we get to our next match.
Sure.
2024, I think, is going to be a fun year for profiles because I got this feeling, DK, we're going to get out of doing single wrestlers this year. We
Yep.
may do managers, tag teams, personalities. We may get
Yes.
out of that, comfort bed this year. But
Yep. Yeah. Tag teams, even factions,
mm-hmm,
different versions of factions. That'll definitely be on the horizon.
yep. All right, so now we go to Sean Mooney, who's in the back, and he's got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Duggan is saying, boss man, you're not dealing with some punk at a convenience store. You're dealing with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, tough guy. And that leads us to our next match, the big boss man against Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Okay, so you could not wipe the smile off my face when Hacksaw says, "You're dealing with me, tough guy." Oh, like I'm a Canadian and I'm screaming USA at the
I
freaking
know.
USA. Like my favorite is he's facing the freaking boss man. He's from Georgia.
hmm
USA.
The
Oh.
the thing.
Okay. Long story short, my sister when she was a little kid, I
hmm
used to watch wrestling with my dad. She didn't really watch it. She was a little kid. She'd like run around the house.
hmm
She loved Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
How could you not?
She'd stick her thumb up. She'd yell ho. She had a foam. She had the foam 2x4. Oh man, good stuff, man.
I was
Good
kind of
stuff. I
jealous of
love
those kids with the foam two by four.
it. Yeah.
I really was.
And I think we were gonna profile Hacksaw, and then we ended up doing $1 Million Man. So
I
I think we
still want to
still
do
need.
Duggan. I
I still think we do need to do that, but
Yeah.
we'll see
So
if we get to that.
this match is basically a battle of two big horses.
Yeah,
That's what this match is.
definitely.
Surprisingly, this is the shortest match on the show as far as time goes. It is a 6 minute, 13-second match.
It's shorter than a dark match.
Oh,
Damn.
actually, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I have a conflicting report. Well, okay. It's still the shortest match on history of WWE. It says it's 10:23. So
Oh,
I'll, I'll,
okay.
I'll go with history
That's
of WWE on this one.
that's quite the discrepancy in time. Like maybe they're counting the entrances or
Maybe. I don't know. Um,
something.
it's just a fun big guy match.
Yeah,
Although,
totally.
although Boss Man during this match hits an enziguri on Duggan, and it's like, holy crap.
Yes, I did not expect that. Like, oh, I didn't even know they did Enzuigaris in
I
1990.
know, right?
Did not expect Ray Trailer to do it.
So the end of the match, Slick is distracting the referee. Boss Man's got the nightstick. He hits Duggan with the nightstick once, hits him a second time, but on the second one, the ref sees the hit. Referee calls for the bell.
Yeah,
Post match is where it gets fun. So Duggan goes and he gets his 2x4. He hits Boss Man with it, sends Boss Man to. He gets Slick. He wallops Slick on his backside with the 2x4. He goes over the top. Boss Man, in anger, grabs a steel chair, throws it into the ring. So Duggan sets the chair up to sit. As he's about to sit down, Boss Man throws a second chair, almost hits Duggan in the head with that chair.
yeah,
And the,
there was chaos, like you
and the,
said.
and the crowd's like, ooh.
Ooh. Oh man, what a
And
great show.
I'm like, holy shit, he almost knocked his head off.
Yeah, I don't think that was scripted.
No, I don't think so either.
Just frisbee a chair in the ring and hits him in the head.
Duggan probably wouldn't have cared, I don't think.
No, no, he was all fired up. He didn't care. He would just yelled "Ho" and USA and
Yeah.
would
Uh
have been fine.
Duggan wins by disqualification. Again, I enjoyed this. It's a fun big man match. I gave it a
Yep.
C.
Yeah. Um, I'm with you with the big man match. Just I enjoyed the hell out of this.
Mm-hmm.
It was not once did I go, "Oh, when's this going to be over?" I didn't do that at all on this whole entire show,
Right.
which is kind of strange. I usually like sometimes I get tired of a match and I just okay, when's this ending? Where are we going with this?
Right.
I didn't think about that in this one. So yeah, I'm I don't know, probably go C minus. I
Okay.
I like to see somebody win.
Yeah.
Even like I don't think there's a reason there why Hacksaw can't get him with the shoulder tackle and get the 3 count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the crowd would have been really into that. He would have got a big pop. But besides that, I thought it was pretty well done. And like I said before, I enjoyed the match.
All right. Now, what do you think Dave Meltzer gave this match?
Now, the way you're saying this sounds like it's one of these classic Dave disappointments. It's either going to be like a really high star match or it's going to be terrible. So I'm going to go minus 2.5 stars.
You're so close. Minus 2.25.
Oh man. So was this the one that you said that I was going to lose it over?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like sure, I'm a little disappointed in the ending, but like what else does Boss Man and Hacksaw have to do? They got a middle of the road matchup here
Mm-hmm.
before the big Royal Rumble match. Like, what else could they have done to make it better?
Right.
Like, this isn't two technical wrestlers, but have a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Exactly.
Let's figure it out. Like, I think you got to grade on curve sometimes when you're doing these ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this wasn't Sean versus Austin or Sean versus Brett.
Right.
It's it. You knew what you were getting basically
Mm-hmm.
when you saw the two guys come out and who was wrestling.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get a classic, but I was still entertained. So,
Yeah.
Dave, you're wrong again.
Yep. And this is Dave in 1990.
Yeah, he gets way dumber over the years.
I wonder if he does the wacky tobacco in California. But
Oh, maybe.
we get another brief reminder: WrestleMania 6, Skydome, Toronto, Sunday, April the 1st. And
Hmm.
Jesse tells Tony, "I'm not going to be a fool. I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in the Skydome in Toronto."
And he is there. I believe he's working.
Yeah, it's his last show, actually. Well, on
Really?
pay-per-view. He goes a few
Oh, okay.
months after that. But all right, so now we get ready for the Royal Rumble by
Hmm.
having promos. Lots
Yeah.
and lots of promos.
I don't think we need to go through every promo because it
Oh
seemed like
no,
it took a long time here.
no. We'll just mention who did what, or who's in them. So they basically break it down into two segments. So the first segment consists of Earthquake and Dino Bravo, Demolition, Bad News Brown, Dusty Rhodes, The Rockers, Hercules, Rick Martel, Tito Santana, Jimmy Snuka, Akeem, and the Ultimate Warrior. That pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. And now,
Uh,
oh, go
we
ahead.
we should dissect the Warriors promo though.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that. So in the promo, he says that there are 28 mortal men,
Yeah.
but the 29th man is you, Hulk Hogan.
It's Hulk Hogan.
I know.
I
I
believe
can
he
never
pronounces
say
it.
it how he does.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Like you know what his name is, right?
Right.
Hulk Hogan. It's not Kogan Warrior. Anyways.
I also want to mention real quick, because if I don't say it, I'm going to be upset. In
Okay.
Hercules promo, he refers to this match as the Rumble Royal. He
Yes, he
says,
does.
"I'm going to win this Rumble Royal today."
Well, yeah.
I give
Okay.
him a break.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I really enjoyed Mania Wrestle too, so I don't know what your
I
issue
also
is.
like Series Survivor.
See, that one sounds even dumber. Series Survivor. Mania Wrestle just sounds kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the surprise. The one that you've been waiting for all show, and the one that DK's been waiting for a few weeks. So, what I'm going to do, and we're going to put this up on YouTube. Hopefully, this stays up on YouTube. So, I'm going
Okay.
to share my screen, and I have to build this up a little bit.
All right.
So the version that DK and I watched, either on the network or the cock,
The
this is
catch.
the cack. Actually, Pat McAfee referred to the peak or referred to it as the cock today on his show.
Well, Pat
And I was,
McAfee's a wise man.
I, part of me was kind of happy, and the other part was kind of disappointed because he stole my material.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, what I'm about to play is not on either version. This is a Coliseum video exclusive, and for you younger kids who may not know what Coliseum Video is, this was the video distributor of the WWF for 12 years. So all the videotapes, the pay-per-views, the compilations, all of that were released through Coliseum Video.
Yep.
On a lot of the pay-per-views, they had uh never before seen footage, special features.
Yeah.
The one I'm about to play is my all-time favorite Coliseum exclusive. We get the fans' choice of who they think is going to win the Royal Rumble. And who better to conduct this than Mr. Sean Mooney? So here, do you see the screen?
Yep.
All right. If you can't hear it, let me know.
Okay.
This beautiful structure behind me is the
I can
Orlando
hear it.
Arena here
You
in
can hear
Orlando,
it?
Florida, as we
Yeah.
anticipate
Okay.
the start of the Royal Rumble. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Mooney, exclusively.
Oh, and if you need me to pause, just let me know if you have any comments as well.
Sure. No, let's play it, and then I will give
Okay.
my comments when it's done.
All right. All right. So let's
I,
get your thoughts.
first thing I gotta say is I forgot how much I like Sean Mooney. I I always enjoyed him as like that outside or backstage interviewer.
Right.
Him and Pettingale and even Michael Cole in the late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Um, yeah, that was interesting. I really liked the Superfly thing that you did in the
Yes.
background. The lady that gets telling everyone they're wrong and Jake the Snake's gonna win. She kind of reminds me of like you know every condo board person. Your name's usually Karen, and you have a problem with the manager.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? This is why you're wrong. Like, can't just say who you want to win. You got to get right in their faces.
And then we had the Stephanie Tanner clone saying Bret Hart
Yeah.
was gonna win.
Right?
Uh
Thought
and
that
then,
was
and
her.
then the one
Joke.
guy,
Sweet.
who's like, I think Axe is gonna win because he's the only one that could beat Andre the Giant.
That you know what? If you're putting bets down, that would have been good odds.
That would have been a good bet.
Axe from Demolition winning the Rumble
Roddy
would have been fun to see.
Roddy Piper's gonna win.
And
He's got great
and the
legs, even if he does wear a skirt.
nice legs, Roddy. Nice
He's gonna
legs,
win
Roddy.
because he's the best. Ooh. And
Yeah,
then
I did not expect you to put that up. I was not prepared for that.
and then the
And
kid at the
I'm
end,
glad you didn't tell me.
Dusty Rhodes is gonna win because he's got a good manager.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that's good. Good
All
stuff,
right.
man.
So let's get back to where we are. So
Okay.
Tony and Jesse, they hype up the Rumble a little bit more. And then we get a few more comments from Randy Savage, the Powers of Pain, Jake Roberts, the Hart Foundation, the Honky Tonk Man, and Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan,
Oh God,
brother.
mother. So now it is time for the biggie, the Royal Rumble, where the winner of this match will win nothing. There's nothing on the line.
Like, okay, so the reason why I hadn't seen some of these older Rumbles is because I kind of like to watch like the chronological story of the Rumble winner, and then he goes on to WrestleMania,
Right.
wins the title, or when Flair won and the title was on the line in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like this is a preseason football game. Doesn't matter who wins. And this was a great opportunity where they could have highlighted somebody
Yeah.
that they were pushing, some undercard guy that it could have been a big moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was, well, we'll talk about it, but I wasn't extremely happy with the winner of the match.
Right. Okay, so after Howard Finkel goes through the rules, he announces entry number 1. We already know, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Entry number 2, Coco Beware. Now,
I was happy with number 2.
for the purposes of this review, we are not going to go through every single thing.
Yeah, that'd take too long.
But we are going to mention some highlights. And actually, the first 5 minutes of this match has highlights.
Yeah.
So it's DiBiase and Coco starting off. Coco gets sent to the corner head first. Big mistake. Coco, he's beating up Ted DiBiase. He's going to try to get rid of him. DiBiase dips his shoulder, and you hear Tony Schiavone going, "Oh, no!" I guess Tony had money on Coco winning it.
I guess so. That would have been a big underdog.
All right, time for entrant number 3, Marty Jannetty of the Rockers. And hey, his music's playing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like did they put the music on everybody or just some guys?
Just some. We've never I've tried to look up the reason. I've never seen a reason or heard a reason why they stopped at a certain point.
Because I liked the pop and the beginning of the music, and you know who's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why I didn't like certain Royal Rumbles is because they didn't do that.
Right.
And so that's one thing that I found pretty intriguing was the music being played.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized sometimes they weren't playing music.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were. It was kind of strange.
It's weird. So DiBiase gets advantage, but Marty Jannetty comes back. Jannetty tries for a move. DiBiase ducks. Jannetty is out.
Yeah.
All right. So
DiBiase. What could have been with Marty Jannetty is what I thought about when I saw him out there. So many issues, but he could have been. Now, I'm not just saying this because they're in the same tag team, but he could have been as good as Shawn Michaels ended up being. Like if he would have just figured it out, he could have really been a strong, long-term Intercontinental champion.
Like we watched Survivor Series 95 and the In Your House following, and he looked good on both of those shows.
That's when I thought he was at his best as a single. Now, I know he had his problems.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Right. So, 2 down, 27 to go. You get the clock counting down. We get to 1. Jake Roberts' music plays, and the arena goes crazy.
Now, was he a babyface here?
Yes.
Because I know he flip-flopped a few times.
Yeah.
But yes, this was a big-time fan favorite. Just like I always liked Jake Roberts because there was nobody like him. Nobody was kind of like Jake Snake.
Yeah.
Like his promos were so like he didn't get in your face and yell at you. He just like slowly talked you down. Mm-hmm. And I really thought that like he could have like he had such a good mind for the business. So it was great to see Jake here.
So what I notice throughout this match is there are 4 big pops during this match.
Okay.
This is big pop number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So DiBiase and Roberts, they fight for the whole 2 minutes. Nobody gets eliminated. So now we're gonna hit the fast forward button a little bit. So we're just gonna tell you who came in next. 5, Randy Savage. 6, Roddy Piper. 7, the Warlord, 8, Bret Hart, 9, Bad News Brown, 10, Dusty Rhodes.
How did you just skip over the Warlord's pop like that? Like I had to restart my computer. Like it was so loud. I was like, holy Jesus.
So,
Warlords are really over in Orlando.
so Dusty gets big pop number 2.
Right.
He eliminates Randy Savage from the match.
Yep. Like I
Oh,
said in last night's episode,
mhm,
like they already had a storyline going, so it doesn't exactly work here. But
right.
a lot of matches for WrestleMania start in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they do.
And you'll see that on Saturday.
Yeah. So, oh, and by the way, Ted DiBiase still in the ring. He's going through
Yeah.
the first crop. 11, Andre the Giant. And I have to mention this part because this is kind of funny. Andre eliminates the Warlord. Fuji gets on the apron. Heenan pulls Fuji down. Fuji
Yeah.
threatens Heenan with the cane.
It was great. It was like an old man fighting a grocery store,
It was.
fighting over that last turnip.
Yep. I was a turnip.
Yeah.
12, the Red Rooster.
Man, what a terrible character. Oh my God.
So,
Uh,
so during this part, Roddy Piper eliminates Bad News Brown. Brown gets back up on the apron, eliminates Piper. They fight.
wait a minute. He was
Yeah,
out already.
I know. So they fight around ringside. They fight all the way up to up the aisle. The crowd is going crazy for Piper.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy. And this is where the buildup for their match for WrestleMania begins, is right here.
Yeah, so they didn't have any animosity before this. It's kind of just see that's what I was talking about recently is setting up the match. So
Yeah.
you'll see that a lot in the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. All right. 13, Axe. 14, Haku. 15, Smash. 16, Akeem. And we get a big time elimination, pardon the pun, because Axe and Smash eliminate Andre the Giant.
That fan was foreshadowing that.
He did.
Did he know something?
Oh no.
Man. And this is, you know what? Like, I'm starting to feel real smart here.
Okay.
Because I believe at WrestleMania 6, Andre and Haku face Demolition.
Yes.
So this is another instance where they're kind of foreshadowing a match that's about going to happen with Andre being eliminated by Demolition.
Yep. All right. So continue on. 17, Jimmy Snuka. 18, Dino Bravo. 19, the Canadian Earthquake. Uh-oh. And
The Canadian earthquake where there are no earthquakes.
And he makes an immediate impact. He eliminates Dusty Rhodes and Acts of Demolition within a matter of like 90 seconds.
Yes, and I did notice how strong he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to ask you this question. Now, everybody knows in a few months, the Warrior is going to beat Hogan for the title.
Right.
I'm sure they know they have this plan already.
Mm-hmm.
When Hogan comes back after after he loses the way they get him off TV is Earthquake attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, did they make Earthquake look extra strong here, just knowing what they were planning on doing?
I think so.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought too, but wasn't sure.
All right, so number 20, Jim Neidhart, and hey, we've gone 2/3 of this roster Ted DiBiase's still in the ring.
Still is.
Unbelievable. From number 1, he's still in there. 21.
And so how many like I know Royal Rumble wasn't like this is the second one on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
But how many had they had? And I'm just curious if like the number one entrant from what you remember had ever gone as far as DiBiase had, because they were like really pushing how long he had been in the match for.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was only like about halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
So like knowing what I've seen in my past, like how there's been multiple number 1s and number 2s to make it to the end and win.
Yeah.
It wasn't as impressive him being there like when number 20 is coming out. But I was just curious if you had any intel on that.
At this point, this is the 3rd Royal Rumble.
The 3rd. Okay, so they just had, and what, Hacksaw and what's his name?
Big John Studd.
Big John Studd. So, and do you remember what entry those guys were when they won?
Okay, Studd was 27.
Yeah,
Duggan,
I do remember that. I'm just curious about Hacksaw.
I don't.
Probably in the 20s as well.
Well, because with the first one, it's only 20 guys.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the longevity record is probably maybe no more than 25 minutes.
Oh, so Big John won the first time it was on pay-per-view in the 89 Rumble.
Yeah.
That's another one I have not seen that I would like to check out.
Okay. So, 21, Ultimate Warrior comes out to a huge pop number 3.
Mm-hmm.
22, Rick Martel. 23, Tito Santana. 24, the Honky Tonk Man. And during this time is when finally Ted DiBiase is eliminated by the Warrior. One clothesline.
Yep. Didn't the Warrior come out and eliminate a few guys like really quickly?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He ends up eliminating 6 guys in the Rumble.
And he came out at 21.
So DiBiase, for those curious, was in this match for almost 45 minutes. That's
pretty good.
That's freaking impressive.
Yeah.
It really is. Hey, kudos to DiBiase. You had the right guy, I think, to do this, because this trend's going to, eventually go on years down the road. But to have him be like the original, you got the right guy.
Yeah, like I don't think, if looking at the Royal Rumbles that I can remember after that, like what Flair did was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
He came out at 3, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Shawn and Bulldog in 95, 1 and 2. But that was, I believe they came out every minute, so it wasn't as impressive.
But still, they were the first to win and the last 2.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty
impressive. Shawn was only in the Rumble for 38 minutes. So if you look at that, like Ted DiBiase was in almost 10 more minutes and he didn't win.
Right.
So that's just the difference there.
And you're dealing with the Florida humidity as well.
True.
Like, I don't care if it's January, it's still Florida. And you're doing some kind of physical activity.
Yeah.
All right. 25, Hulk Hogan, Big Pop number 4. And he goes right to work. He eliminates Jimmy Snuka. I thought they were friends. Hey, it's every man for himself.
Yep, exactly.
And then number 26, he's the sacrificial lamb for this one, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he enters the ring, Honky Tonk Man gets eliminated, Michaels gets eliminated, Martel gets eliminated. It is Hogan and Warrior in the ring alone.
Yeah. And this was a big moment.
Oh my God, yeah. This crowd ate it up.
Yep. It's what everybody wanted to see, right? The two top guys.
Mm-hmm. So they get nose to nose, shove, shove. They run the ropes, double clothesline, knock each other down. Okay. Well, number 27, the Barbarian.
Yeah.
He's got easy pickings. And then at number 28, and running before the clock even starts, Rick Rude.
Yeah. And like, I'm assuming that was a mistake. He's all
Probably.
upset. He's like, I'm going.
Yep. The hell with it, Vince. I'm going.
I was like Rick Rude.
Yeah. So at one point, Barbarian and Rude both try to eliminate Hogan. Warrior saves Hogan. Then the Barbarian and Rude both go after Warrior. Hogan does a double clothesline, I guess we could say, onto Hogan or onto Barbarian and Rude. Warrior is eliminated.
Yeah.
And,
A little surprised by that.
And I love Jesse's reaction. He's like, there, I told you. He wouldn't come to save Warrior. And then Warrior comes in the ring. He beats up Barbarian. He beats up Rude. And he runs back to the locker room to a huge ovation.
Yeah.
And then Tony is trying to convince Jesse that Hogan did not do that on purpose. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right. So to round it up, 29, Hercules, 30, Mr. Perfect.
Yep.
And we immediately get to our final four. It is Hulk Hogan, Rick Rude, Hercules, and Mr. Perfect.
Like we all predicted.
DK?
Yeah.
Hercules can win the Rumble Royal.
The Rumble Royal, like he predicted.
He could win this.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it doesn't happen because Rude clotheslines him over the top.
See, the worst part about this Final Four is, in my mind, I knew who was going to win.
That's like the only negative about this.
Like, it would have been so much better. Now, I don't know how they could have done it. Like, if it would have been Andre and Warrior and Hogan and Ted DiBiase be number one, that's the Final Four that I would have booked. I would have had Andre come out at like 29. You could have Mr. Perfect be like the first guy eliminated of the final five.
Right.
And so, yeah, you continue, and I'll tell you how I feel about this match.
Okay. So Perfect and Rude double team Hogan. Rude tries to punch Hogan, but Hogan moves out of the way, punches Perfect by accident. Perfect goes over the top rope, but he holds on. He has not been eliminated. Ooh, it was very close.
Very close.
So, meanwhile, Rude is going to send Hogan to the ropes. Hogan reverses. Perfect pulls himself up from the top rope, accidentally eliminates Rude from the match. Oh, no. So we are down to Hulk Hogan and Mr. Perfect, the only two left. They go at it for a couple of minutes. Perfect hits the perfect plex on Hogan. Hogan hulks up, slingshots Perfect into the post. Hogan throws Perfect out. That's your ball game. So long. Drive home safe, everybody. Hulk Hogan wins his first Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I don't think this is something that Hogan needed to win. Like, I think it would have been so much better if there was a situation where Warrior and Hogan eliminated each other. Then they maybe fight outside, and then like you could have Ted DiBiase win this from number one. You could have Mr. Perfect win. I think it would have done so much more for those guys to win a Royal Rumble, to put them in like a main event scene down the line than having the guy that's the WWF champion win the Royal Rumble or even be in the Royal Rumble. But that's just a different time, I guess.
Yeah. Now
you had to have Hogan at the end. You had to like send the people home happy.
Mm-hmm.
You had to find a way. Like you could have had Ted DiBiase win the Rumble. Hogan gets into the ring at the end and tosses him out. They play his music, and then he still does. He still poses at the end. So
Yeah.
that's just. Um, I like the Rumble match. I didn't like the ending. The the Warrior Hogan stuff was really good. The foreshadowing of their WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before they the Rumble winner would
Right.
go on the Mania and face the champ.
Right.
So I always assumed before I knew that role came into in 1993 that the Warrior won this Royal Rumble, and that's how he ended up getting that title
Right.
shot.
Right.
So never really thought about it any other way.
Now, I do want to mention before we each give our grades of this. I've heard this rumor. I don't know if the rumor is true or not. So if anyone has heard what I'm about to say and can confirm or deny it, please tell me. The rumor that I've heard in the past is that Perfect was supposed to win this Rumble.
Oh, creative
That's,
control, Terry.
yep, you got it. Pretty much.
It started earlier than I expected.
But again, that's only a rumor. We don't know if
Yeah.
it's true or not. Although I've heard
Okay.
it for a long time. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Well, for the Royal Rumble to it means nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't win anything. You don't get a trophy. It's as less prestigious as the Andre the Giant Memorial thing they do. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they do it anymore. But when they did that, you got a trophy. It was kind of
Right.
cool.
Right.
I would stand next to the trophy and do the Andre pose. It was kind of a cool thing they would do.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you've got nothing for it. So if it's in the main event of a top four show of the year, you could use this spot to either elevate a current wrestler, or you can have some big time heel come back and win it and set up another match down the line. You did not have to have the guy that's currently the champion that is on top of the mountain
Right.
win it. It did nothing for Hulk Hogan. It would have been any other guy in that match. It would have benefited more than Hulk Hogan.
Now, I do want to mention, I'm going to say this real quick because I agree with you on pretty much everything you said.
Okay,
But
this is a new one.
But I have to make the counter argument for this.
Okay.
The counter argument that I have is this is still young. This is only the third Rumble. They haven't quite figured out everything yet.
Sure.
So, I mean, I agree with you on pretty much everything you said, but I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass because it's only the third one. They hadn't really gotten, the ball running on the different ideas and concepts that they would have for the match at that point.
Yeah.
So, I want to bring up a couple of interesting notes before we give our grades. This is the first, and I'm going to say only Royal Rumble, because I think someone's going to make an argument where the WWF, WWE champion, the Intercontinental champion, and the tag team champions are in the same Rumble match. The only one. The argument that could be made is 2016. Roman Reigns was defending the title.
Mm-hmm.
Ambrose is Intercontinental champion. And Kofi Kingston, who is in this match in that Rumble, but is only one half of the tag team champions. The other half is not in that Rumble. So you could make your argument either way of there's only been one or there's been two. For me, I'm gonna say only one because the other half of the tag champs were not in that match. The
Okay.
other note before we give our grades, the number of Hall of Famers that are in this Rumble, and I'm only talking about the WWE Hall of Fame. There are 17 wrestlers out of 30 in the WWE Hall of Fame that competed in this Rumble match.
17 out of 30, really.
Only 3 other Rumbles have more than 1990. 89, 91, and 92 each have 18.
Okay. Well, so Flair is the extra Hall of Famer,
Mm-hmm.
right? For 92.
Mm-hmm.
And in 89, I guess Big John Studd
Would be the extra, yeah.
would be the extra.
Mm-hmm.
And so does that mean the same 17 are in all 3 of those Royal Rumbles he talked about?
Not necessarily.
It just does seem odd that like there's 2 that would be one more, and then it just happens to be Big John Studd who won and Ric Flair who won it,
Right.
besides the other guys.
Right.
But yeah, we don't have to get into all that, but
Right.
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I'm just going to run them down real quick. The 17 that are in the Hall of Fame: DiBiase, Coco, Roberts, Savage, Piper, Bret Hart, Dusty Rhodes, Andre, Snuka, Neihart, Warrior, Santana, Honky Tonk Man, Hogan, Michaels, Hercules, or Rude, and Mr. Perfect.
Coco is in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What year did he go? And I don't remember that. I think I would have remembered him on the stage with the bird.
I believe 2009.
Okay.
When
So
when we do
like 2009 isn't recently. It
when
sounds like it should be, but it isn't.
when we do our Hall of Fame show, we will be talking about that 09 class. Okay. Grade for this match.
Okay, so the match overall, I thought was good, and it was star-studded. I give the match a B, but the ending kind of took away. It's kind of like I'm grading a movie
Mm-hmm.
where the movie's action packed. It's like I'm on the edge of my seat, and then it's got this lame ending, so it knocks it down to a C plus for me. It was still a pretty good Royal Rumble
Okay.
from what I can take from it.
I've obviously seen this match more than you have, and this is your first time seeing it.
Yeah,
So you gave what grade did you give it?
a C plus.
Oh, we are on like the total polar opposites on this one. And
Okay.
I'm glad we are. The storytelling, basically from beginning to end, is fantastic. Like every this is one of these rumbles where every person spot is just about right. You know, you couldn't have put them in a better or a worse spot to me.
Yeah.
DiBiase knocks it out of the park. The Hogan Warrior confrontation is amazing. The pops of certain eliminations is great. It really is. The only thing that I wish would have been different was Warrior somehow being involved in the end. That's the only thing I wish, that would have happened that could have changed.
And can I make one one statement about that
Go
where
right
I
ahead.
think they got it right. I think Warrior being eliminated earlier
Hmm.
was on purpose to save Hogan from getting booed for
Right.
winning
Right.
for the Warrior fans. Similar to a few years, like it was a long time ago now, but when Daniel Bryan got eliminated early when Roman Reigns won.
Oh yeah.
It's very similar. Two baby faces. Like with Roman Reigns, it was completely different because the crowd was shitting on him.
Oh God.
They
Yeah.
did not want they did not want Hogan to get booed for winning this Royal Rumble
Hmm.
with all the Warrior fans wanting the Warrior.
Yeah. So this Rumble match is in my top three all time. I absolutely love this Rumble from beginning to end. I'm giving this an A.
Really?
Hmm. And the commentary is really good as well. I got to mention that. Tony and Jesse are great on commentary for this match.
Yeah, like it was good, but I wouldn't put it up against some of my favorite Rumbles.
Right.
Like my favorite Rumble of all time is 97. 92 is my second favorite. And then there's like '01 and '02 are very close to third place.
Hmm.
Um, I think part of the reason why it's not rated as high is because it's not for anything.
That's fair. That's fair.
If if the winner of this got to face Hulk Hogan, like if they had a match where Hogan defended his title, let's say he defended it against the Genius
Hmm.
in the third match of the night because the Genius had beat him, and then he beats the Genius, and then the Warrior wins the Royal Rumble. I think it would have been so much better.
Okay.
So my reasoning for not rating it as high is because of the ending and it being for nothing.
Okay. Um, well, time for you to guess what Dave Meltzer rated this match.
Yeah, I don't really know how Dave would shit all over Royal Rumble, but I'm sure he did. Um, I, it was a good Royal Rumble. Now I know I'm kind of shitting on it because of me like not liking the ending.
Hmm.
I think Dave probably liked this. I'm gonna say 3.5 stars.
You're very close. 3 stars.
Okay.
So pretty much we're all positive on this
Yeah.
Rumble match. Um, as far as the show overall, it's a fun show from beginning to end. It's just like I remember it, when I was younger, watching the Coliseum video. It's still, with the exception of the Brother Love skit, this still holds up to this day. I give this a thumbs up. I'm gonna give it like a B plus grade. It's just a fun show overall. It really is.
Yeah, you know what? Like I didn't think there was a bad match.
No, there isn't.
Um, I said I would go back and tell you my least favorite. Um, like my least favorite segment was the
The Brother
Brother
Love.
Love.
Right.
Um, I I don't know if I could really have a bad match.
Right. Because like I
Like
said,
I thought maybe the Jim Duggan Boss Man because of the ending.
right.
Because but if we're kind of comparing it to the Genius and Beefcake match, it's very similar.
Hmm.
So I almost have two least favorite matches that are kind of close.
But they're still not
That's kind of what I
bad.
would go with. Yeah.
It's
No, they're
like
not bad.
exactly. There's no bad match on this show.
Like I didn't think it was a phenomenal pay-per-view, but I didn't think it was bad either. I thought
Right.
like it's pretty much in that B minus C
Yeah.
plus category for me.
Okay. All right. Now time for the DK question. Who is the MVP or the star of the 1990 Royal Rumble?
Okay, there's 2 stars for me.
Okay.
well, I guess it would be 3 stars, but the first star is Ted DiBiase
Hmm.
going for number one, lasting as long as he did.
Hmm.
I thought that was really impressive. My
Yeah.
second star is just the commentary team as a
Yeah.
whole. I thought they really made a lot of the show,
Hmm.
and maybe like even the crowd. Like I thought the crowd was really good,
Hmm.
and the crowd can really affect a show and how good it is.
It really can. Okay, so as far as the actual wrestlers, DiBiase's the star of the show for me. He's like he's the number one, goes pretty much 45 minutes. He's like 13 seconds under. It doesn't really matter. He goes 45 minutes, um, sets the Iron Man record, which only lasts for a year. Because that's the weird thing with some of these early Rumbles is like, oh, he's in longer than anyone. Next year, oh, this guy's in longer than anyone.
Right? Yeah.
Um, while I really appreciate Tony and Jesse on commentary, and I really do, I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna give another star to Mean Gene Okerlund just for his reactions for the number that DiBiase drew and the
Yeah.
replay of Perfect hitting Beefcake in the ribs. I just thought that was really great. And because normally we don't do 3 stars, I'm gonna do it with you, and it is the Orlando crowd. This crowd was hot from beginning to end. This is one of the best Royal Rumble crowds I think I've ever watched. That's how good this crowd is.
Yeah. 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 I kind of wanted to go crowd. I kind of wanted to go commentary because like the commentary can make or break
Mm-hmm.
the show. And kind of glad Vince was a little hungover here,
Really, like this is
which
one
is
of the
still
few
amazing.
times where it's like, oh, thanks, thanks, Vince, for getting wasted.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right. So before we wrap the show up, I wanted to I forgot to do this on the last episode, but I promised our listeners I would do it here today. Uh Royal Rumble stats. These are basically the numbers that sometimes you don't hear about that often, because they always talk about, oh, there's been 1,300 men, 1,300 people, blah, 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 blah. So
Yeah.
I've done this for several years, and I love doing this because I love these kind of numbers. So if you're going to a Royal Rumble party this weekend and you want to impress the people there, especially the ladies, oh, the ladies love when you give them Royal Rumble facts.
Oh yeah.
Let's start off with the average position of the winner for both Rumbles. And this is all the men's Royal Rumbles and including the greatest Royal Rumble. I did put that into this mix.
Okay.
The average position for the winner of the men's Royal Rumble is number 20, a position that has not won the Royal Rumble yet.
Number 20, eh?
Yep,
Okay.
number 20. So around that area is the average position. For the women, the average position for the women, the winner, number 17.
Number 17. Okay.
17.
And number one has won, and number 30 has won.
Mm-hmm.
So makes me think 17 is pretty much in the middle.
Yeah.
There you go.
For men's longevity record, Gunther has the record for a 30-man Rumble from last year, 71 minutes, 40 seconds. The all-time record is Daniel Bryan from the greatest Royal Rumble, where he was in for 76 minutes and 5 seconds.
That's pretty
I don't
crazy.
I don't think that record's ever going to be broken.
75 minutes?
76 minutes.
Yeah, you'd have to have like guys come out every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which would make it 60. And then they'd have to have like a long, prolonged ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how you could have a Royal Rumble last 20 minutes after the last entrant of
I
someone.
know, right?
Like, I think it would just be a little bit too much waiting.
Yeah. For the women, Rhea Ripley last year set the longevity record at 61 minutes 8 seconds. Liv Morgan, who was the runner-up, is number 2 on this list at 61 minutes 7 seconds. So those two set the mark for the women. Kane has the most total eliminations all time in the history of the Royal Rumble with 46, followed by The Undertaker at 44 and Shawn Michaels at 31. And for the women, Rhea Ripley is at the top, 20 total eliminations. Charlotte is next at 15, Shayna Baszler at 14. And that leads us.
I would give, if we were doing an MVP overall, I would give it to Kane.
Yeah.
For longevity and the amount of eliminations. It's really a shame that they didn't have a year where he could have, maybe when the world heavyweight title was going, like Kane could have won that Royal Rumble and had that like on his resume. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
I actually today submitted an article that hopefully will be up by this weekend on Daily DDT of the top 5 wrestlers that never won the Royal Rumble, and Kane is my number 1. He just is. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that article.
Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode and the previous episode back to back. We've never done it before. Don't expect this very often, but it will happen probably in the near future. Join our Facebook group, the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. Remember, we have started the challenge. If you can invite the most people into our group, because we're only 3 away from 100, we're giving you a week. You invite the most people into our Facebook group and they join, we will give you the prize of you picking any pay-per-view for us to review. That's your prize.
It's a pretty good prize.
And you could tell us at any time which pay-per-view it is. Anytime. All right. So
it doesn't have to be an old pay-per-view. It could be, we could review the pay-per-view from last year.
Exactly.
Even though we pretty much reviewed a lot of the current stuff.
Yeah.
On the big shows that come up. We usually review them.
Well,
looking forward to doing that.
Next time, speaking of the current product, we're going to review the 2024 Royal Rumble. We're going to give our overall thoughts on the matches and the shows. I'm looking forward to this one. I really am.
Yep.
So on that note, for DK and the Yodeling Pickle, I'm Bill. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you all next time.
Have a good one.